Welcome to the ultimate backstage pass, the pulsating heart of the high school sports universe. Get ready to rock with the gang from the Corner to Corner podcast as they take their sports obsessions to new heights. Meet the dream team, Sean Kiper, Adam Muncy, Wes Crouch, and Daron Stevens, as they unpack the secrets, emotions, and triumphs that light up our local sports heroes. Whether you're gearing up for a game or unleashing cheers from the stands, get ready for an exclusive scoop that'll knock your socks off. It's showtime!
Yep, we're back. So as I was introducing, we have Morehead State Athletic Director Kelly Wells and men's basketball coach Jonathan Mattox. And woo! There we go. You got the one-man round of applause.
We'll take it. That's better than we get at home, so we'll take it.
That's it. Coach Mattox, you were telling us a little bit about yourself before we got rudely interrupted by no sound.
Yeah. No, originally from Athens, Georgia. Played college ball. Started my career at Anderson University, South Carolina. Finished up at Emmanuel College in Georgia. And my college coach encouraged me to get into coaching. So I spent my first 2 years at Emmanuel as a part-time assistant, doing a little bit of everything, and then really wanted to get to the Division I level and reached out to a number of schools and coaches throughout the Southeast and got connected with B.J. Ellis here, who at the time worked for Sean Woods. And I ended up coming up as an unpaid GA my first year, and never, could have imagined what that would have turned into. But it's been a great journey from 9 years. My first stint went to Murray State for 2 years, and then the gentleman on my left, hired me in the spring of 2024, and here we are today.
So when you make that decision to go from a player to a coach, and I would imagine it's probably more of a grind when you're first starting out, especially in the college level, trying to get your name out there. What was that like? Yeah,
I think I'm a process-oriented guy. I want our players to be process-oriented, and when you're an entry-level coach, that's your mindset. Nothing should be too big for you, or nothing should be too small for you, and you just got to go in, put your head down, work, learn as much as possible, and good things will work out for you.
So Kelly Wells, you're athletic director, but you've had many titles. You won a state title at Mason County, right?
We did. Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. A coach forever. Been involved in basketball my entire life. My father actually started the women's basketball program at Morehead State, so my footprints have been around campus and part of hoops my entire life. And Johnny can tell you that no one calls me Dr. Wells or Mr. Wells. I'm Coach Wells, will always be that. So I think that gives me a good advantage in terms of leadership, is because I do empathize with the coaches. I understand what they're going through, when they're going through it. So it gives me a good opportunity to be a partner for them in the sport. I've coached at the University of Pikeville. We won a national championship there. Coached at Mason County, won a state championship there. The theme behind all of those is I've always had good players. So coaches probably can relate around the world that when you had your best teams, you probably had your best players. That's kind of the way it works. So been blessed. I was at Marion County, got my first coaching job there, and also a business education teacher. So grew up in education my whole life. That's always going to be a part of my background, and just been blessed here recently to come back home, make full circle, and be back at Morehead State and having a chance to impact a place that I truly love and care about.
And what you're not telling the people, but you told me, is the best part about you is your wife's from Mingo County, West Virginia.
She is. Not everybody will know that, so I'm super thankful for her. She is by far the best part of me, and we get an opportunity to go back to West Virginia, but I can tell you she's a proud alum of Morehead State as well, so we're both very glad to be located where we're located.
So 2024, your basketball job comes open. What were you looking for in a coach, and what did Coach Mattox stand out in the interview process?
Yeah, I would never tell him this as he's sitting right here with me, but certainly there, as an athletic director or leader of any type, you have a list of people that you want to look at and you want to talk to about your position. And Johnny was earmarked on mine as the guy to talk to. So we had an opportunity to do that, get him on campus, let him meet everybody again, kind of reassociate him. And one of the things we've been proud of at Morehead is fit is critically important for us. So trying to find the right man that's a good person, family man, has the right beliefs that fits into our place is important. And Johnny, they call him Johnny Basketball for a reason. He's in love with the game of basketball. Not that his family and his beliefs don't fall before that. He certainly is a basketball coach. He treats people well. He's just one of us. So, like, he fit perfect. The results are showing. And certainly I'm glad to partner with him and couldn't have been happier to make that call to say, hey, man, you want to be our basketball coach? That was a good day on the job.
Yeah. So what about you? When Morehead State came available, was that just a circle, I'm going for it?
Yeah, I mean, very easy decision. You know, I still had to go through an interview process, a Zoom call on campus, talk to Coach Wells on the phone. So I still had to go through those processes, which was good for me and just helping my preparation, organization, all those things. And then when it got down to it, I visited campus, which I hadn't been back in 2 years. So there were some new things going that I was able to see. He had stepped into the role of athletic director since I'd left. So meeting him face-to-face, sitting down with him face-to-face was big. And then obviously reacclimating myself with his current staff, all of whom I had known or worked with and all those things. But at the end of the day, when it came down to accepting the job, it was a very easy decision for me.
So when you're building a roster, especially nowadays in like the NIL era, transfer portal, whatever it is, what do you look for most in a player?
Yeah, to echo on a point Coach Wells said, fit is critically important. I've learned that over the past 2 or 3 years. What type of person do I want to coach? That's first and foremost, right? As a player, we have certain traits we look for in our guards, certain traits we look for in our wings, certain traits we look for in our forwards. But, you know, I think a big thing now in 2026 with the NIL revenue sharing piece, a big thing I've hit on with my staff lately, we got to have the right dudes in that locker room. You got to have the right guys in that locker room from a character standpoint, right? It's pretty easy to evaluate the basketball stuff, but you got to make sure you have the right guys in that locker room from a character standpoint. And I think I will speak for myself, have grown, and my staff has really helped me. We've done a much better job with that lately.
So speaking of the roster you got, who's coming back this year to play for you?
Yeah, Chase Dawson is a big one. Our fans know him. He is a gamer. He hit 4 go-ahead threes for us last year, 4 go-ahead baskets in different games. He's our point guard. He's our floor general. He's our leader. So he's back, which was big. Vince Dawson from Great Crossing High School, Georgetown is back. He hit some big shots, made some big plays, timely plays for us as a freshman. Clayton Parker, who also played for us as a freshman. So both Vince and Clayton were guys I consider part-time starters as freshmen, which is really good. Clayton missed some time with an injury, got back late for us in the year, and he's back. And then we have Jace Winkleman, who's a Round County kid, who was on our team last year as well. And then Jarvis Wright and Jaden Priest are both redshirted for us. So to have that nucleus back is huge nowadays.
So now, Coach Wells, let me go to you about the NIL and transfer portal question as well. From an athletic director standpoint, how hard is that to navigate for you to allot funds and all that sort of thing?
Sure, there's a lot of competing needs at the college level. So certainly trying to figure out what's the best student-athlete benefit piece, plus what's our best operating facility type issues that we're going to have. To be able to retain 6 of our kids on our roster was huge for us. Then we have to go out and try to find the remaining group. And Johnny's done an amazing job of trying to find the right team to put together. So like everybody can go out and chase talent anywhere you want to, and there's certainly a lot of that out there. But I think when you're trying to build a team, you got to find the right parts and the right pieces. And certainly a lot can go wrong in a locker room. So trying to prevent as much of that on the forefront is important. And I think there's been some learning on his side. There was learning on my side as I was going through and coaching of what I could win with and lose with, and still go home at night and sleep well. So I think we've done a great job, a masterful job of that. We're in the student-athlete benefit game in men's and women's basketball, and that's a big part of an allotment of funding that we provide. It's certainly not where we want it all to be, so it puts pressure on me as a director to go out and fundraise to get folks involved in that area of donation. You know, we call it revenue sharing, but we're operating budget sharing. It's debt sharing. We don't have extra funds to put in through there. So it's really committed donors, committed opportunities for us to be able to stay competitive and stay relevant, which is very important in our world.
This past football season, y'all had one of your more famous probably alumni, Phil Simms, back on campus. What was that like?
Oh, amazing. Phil is an amazing human being. Shook every hand on campus in town, signed 1 million autographs. Probably when he went home, he slept for about 2 days because we drug him literally everywhere. But Phil is a great advocate for us. We throw his name out there all the time. How many other institutions have a Super Bowl MVP that you can tout? And number 11 is extremely important to the university. I grew up with him as an idol. So, personally for me, it was great to have him around to kind of relive those moments. I went to his little camps that he used to have at Morehead, but he still gives back. He still has those camps and those opportunities. So he is a impact person at our university, and to name our stadium Phil Simms Stadium was appropriate, right, overdue, but certainly will give us some opportunities to kind of drive more interest and more partnerships.
Wes, thanks for joining us. You got any questions?
Welcome, Wes. Welcome.
What's up, Wes?
Good afternoon, guys.
You got a clap for him. I had a solo clap for him. You got a clap for him.
Oh, thanks for coming. Sorry, I've been tied up at the dealership for about 3 hours. Much longer than I thought it was going to be. But thank you for coming. When I reached out, and I was just like, I'm just going to take a shot in the dark and see if I can get our guys up the road here and see if they can come down. So I really appreciate you guys coming and giving us a different angle while we're in dead period of college basketball and Division I at that. And we've had Akeem Scott on with Midway, and that's different than you all are with the Division I part. I really wanted to get you on, but really wanted to get Kelly on, being that we are kind of in this area of 10th region. I had this whole big intro for Kelly, 10th region Hall of Famer, KHSAA Hall of Famer, and so it's an honor to have both of you on. One thing that I had that stood out to me as he was talking to you, Coach Mattox, I got it right, was it looked like that Morehead had done a lot of transfer portal guys even before you. And then I know that we are in tune with a lot of the high school guys now, and especially the guys in this that has come up into this 27, 28, even the 29 class. 26 and 27 class. Even some of the 28 class, but especially the 27, this year and next year. And we see these guys' names all of a sudden come out. Morehead offers. So, we were like, Morehead's really going after these guys in the state of Kentucky. I don't know if you've already covered this or not.
I've not.
Okay, good.
I'm just really holding my breath, hoping you don't mention any names, because I think it's one of those weird NCAA rules they can't mention players.
Nope,
talk
not going to mention any
high
names.
school guys.
Not going to mention
That's
any
what I
names.
thought.
No. But, there has been offers go out to a lot of these Kentucky kids. And Kentucky kids, especially, this couple of classes have really shined for some, it seems like Kentucky basketball is getting back to a wow factor.
Absolutely. Yeah, I was talking to a friend of mine who coaches at another institution in the state, and the live period 2 weeks ago, the 27 class and the 2028 class in Kentucky, there's more prospects in those two classes than at any time I can remember. And I've been in Kentucky since 2013. So, yeah, of course, one thing we're going to try to do is build a wall around the state, recruit in-state kids. One, there's good players in the state of Kentucky. Two, we think if we can get some of those good players, they'll play harder for us because it means something to them to play at home, to play in front of their family and friends. And then three, the retention piece of it is there too. We think we can get them here, right? Them being close to home, an hour or two away, we probably have a better chance of keeping them here and retaining them for multiple years, which does wonders for our program.
So something I've always wondered is, obviously you see the product during the season from November to March. This time of year, what's going on at a college basketball program?
Yeah, you would think it slows down. I joke with our staff. I think summer is busier than August through March in some ways. We got a lot going on. So we get 8 hours a week essentially to work with our players right now. So they're all on campus. We live 3 times a week. We're on the court 4 times. We do conditioning once or twice per week. About half of our team is in online class, so that those guys have study hall a couple times a week as well. And then we're out and about recruiting as coaches. But a big part of it is team building, team bonding, team development. So we'll go over to different people's houses in our community. Coach Wells will host us. Our SWA Ken Allen will host us, and we'll eat. We got a new team rule for team dinners. No phones at team dinners anymore. So we'll eat, we'll break bread, we'll spend time with each other, we'll get to know each other. We got to become a team. Right now we're still a group of individuals. We've got to become a team here in the next 3 or 4 weeks.
I know that starts over somewhat each year, especially with the transfer portal and everything that goes on. But is it easier some years than none to break that bread, to get to become a team, or is it just college basketball now and that's the way it is?
A little bit of both. That's the way it is, and I tell people it's not changing, right? No sense in complaining about the portal. The portal's here to stay. NIL's here to stay. I was telling Adam earlier, if you have the right guys in your locker room, it's probably a little bit easier, right? A little bit easier of a transition, a little bit easier of a getting to know people, right? So that's number one in importance for us. And we've got great young men. They've been nothing but positive to coach, to be around. And they've done a good job leaning into to each other thus far.
So this year, you all went to the OVC final, right?
We did.
Yeah. So when a special type of season like that, even at the youth league level, I tell my kids, championships don't come often. So when they come, enjoy it. It's a special process. So when did you figure out that this had a special type of feel to it? It could be a special year.
Let me make sure we get that correct. So we did win the OVC regular season championship,
yes.
And then we advanced to the finals in the OVC. So those championships are hard to come by. We want to recognize that when we get it.
They are. When did I recognize this could be a special season?
Yeah.
We were a team that was late developing. We were a team that got off to a slow start, dropped some in the non-conference, went through some ups and downs, some twists and turns. Hey, we were a team probably took longer than I would have liked or longer than ideal to figure each other out. And, the losing, the adversity can make or break you in some ways. So some of those early losses in the long run were good for us. We lost a game at home to Lindenwood, and that was one of our 2 home losses on the year. I think we were something like 10-2 at home. But we lost the game. I felt we should have won to Lindenwood. I went in the locker room. I took ownership of that game. We go to SEMO the next week, and we lost to SEMO. So we lose back-to-back games, and we're sitting at 8-5, 8-6. I can't remember. 8-5 because we finished 15-5. So it must have been 8-5. And then we go, after the SEMO loss, we go to Martin, Tennessee on ESPNU, I want to say. And at the time, they were in first place in the conference. We were, third, fourth, middle of the pack, whatever. And our guys just responded, played resiliently, competed for 40 minutes. We were up in the game. We were down in the game. And then from that point on, we didn't lose another game until the championship. So kind of through that run, through that adversity, once we kind of figured each other out and it clicked. And, we had really good players, George Marshall, John Carroll. They left everything we had on the floor. We played in close game after close game after close game, and we were fortunate to win a lot of those close games. But like he said to start the show, you do that because you got really good players.
So 10-2 at home, is that something that you emphasize, protect home court?
We got to protect home. At the end of the day, we don't talk. He and I will meet once every 2 weeks to catch up. one thing we talked about is take outcome out of the equation, focus on the process. So really for me, for our staff, for our team this summer, we're really not trying to replicate a result. We're trying to replicate a process. What went well, what didn't go well, right? But yeah, that's always the point of emphasis. You have to protect home in order to be a championship team.
Before you start talking, I just noticed this. I'm a 2X in that. If you want to send to my wife. I mean,
There it is.
We'll see if we
we
can
made
get
it
you,
35 minutes.
Every
I was,
coach on the show, I like what you got on. I'm a 2X.
2X.
He's
we'll,
not.
We'll get him
We've
taken
committed.
care
He
of.
is
We've
not
committed.
shy.
We've committed, no doubt.
I probably got they're going to be small because Mason was just.
he just had a son graduate.
I just had a son
from
graduate from
State.
Morehead,
His daughter
and I've
goes
got a
there.
daughter at Morehead also. So
Great.
Very good.
yeah, so they have been to quite a few games.
No,
especially-
Wes, this does not get cheaper tuition, all right?
Man, dang on it. All right, on to the next subject. Now,
That's a good angle.
you know, I will say, you know, they've been to quite a few games, especially on Greek night and stuff like that. I mean, you know, tell us about the crowds. I mean, you know, there's a bigger crowd than people think, but there always can be more at Morehead State because, listen, 16th region tournament is great. It is awesome, but it doesn't hold a candle in my eyes to seeing, you know, a Division I basketball game. And students go. There's some season ticket guys, people that go, but there needs to be more. And so, tell us about game atmosphere, both of you.
Yeah,
really.
I'll jump first, and I'm certainly glad you gave me an opportunity to speak on that. So
Absolutely.
While we have a great product, you have a Division I university right here in your hotbed. We also have a lot of people that drive right by our gym to go to different venues to watch games. So like we're begging folks to make sure that they come watch a great product in a great town with great people and great student athletes. Our product's unbelievable. I don't know how many close games we played in the OVC this year, but it's highly competitive. One of the most competitive leagues because everybody's like institutions. So it gives us really good competition. So we're not just recruiting our local area like that. This is why we're thankful to be here today. Like we want our region to come around. So like folks in Mount Sterling and Winchester and even in Owensville, all of those folks need to come our direction to watch these games. You get a personal touch, a hands-on touch. You bring groups and you get to come to the locker room and opportunities to really get to know our student athletes. We crave that. That's something we really want. While our student support is very, very good, our community support is good. It can always get better. You know, I'm a living trophy of Morehead State University. I can remember in the 80s, you would have to, if you came in after a tip, you're sitting upstairs. Like you cannot get in. So like those are the dreams and goals we have to try to build it better. Our marketing team's doing an amazing job of trying to get creative in our approach. Our season tickets are for sale. We got a great schedule at home. Just looking for more people to try to get involved in that. And you have a personal invitation from Kelly Wells and Jonathan Mattox right now to come to any game that we have. We'd love to see you in those stands.
There's not a bad seat in the place either.
No, there's
We've
not.
been up there the last couple of years for the regional tournaments, and I mean, it's great seats anywhere you want to sit up there.
So he talked about the schedule. Tell us a little bit, non-conference schedule.
Yeah, non-conference schedule, start with our home games. Like level opponents we've got coming to Johnson Arena include IUND, Presbyterian College, North Alabama, and Bellarmine. We will play games at Murray State, Western Kentucky, Louisville, and Tennessee.
IUND, is that the guy that came from West Liberty? Is that where he?
It is, yeah.
I thought that was him. Chaotic style basketball.
Yeah, we played them last year, and you know they do a great job. They press, you know, they muck up the game. You really got to be able to handle the press, to handle their pressure, to get the ball in bounds, to be strong in traps, to fake a pass, make a pass, step through trap, all those things.
And then your conference schedule. I mean, you know, I don't mean to bring the portal up again, but you've got guys that have bounced around a little bit, and they're like, well, I'm going to end up at like an Ahmad Bradshaw that ended up at Tennessee State, if we're allowed to say that. But you know, so you're ending up playing against a lot of times guys that decide, you know what, either I want to play closer at home or things didn't work out, and so there's really good players at each one of the schools that you all play conference-wise?
There are, right? Like Coach Wells says, it's a highly competitive conference. A lot of like-level institutions, a lot of state institutions. There's going to be good players at Tennessee State. There's going to be good players at SEMO. There's going to be good players at SIUE. And oftentimes those games come down to one or two possessions. So, we put a lot of emphasis on the details, on every possession matters, every point matters. And, I say we want to be a team that plays the same regardless of time, score, situation, or circumstances.
That's great.
So what would you say is probably the most difficult part of your job being a college basketball coach? I almost slipped up and said high school basketball coach because that's what we're used to having.
The most difficult part of the job now, it's changed so much, right? It's an ever-change. The most difficult part, maybe for both of us, is the unknown because it's ever-changing. Like, I don't know if I could pinpoint one thing. We've gone from not paying players to Austin money to NIL and rev share, in the last, 4 or 5 years across the country. They're talking about changing NCAA. We had the COVID years and then not the COVID year, and now potentially 5 for 5. So that's probably the most difficult part of it is something's going to change for us next week, something's going to change for us next month, something's going to change for us next year. And as coaches, as directors, you always have to be adjusting and adapting to the ever-changing environment.
Yeah, I tell Coach Mattox all the time, it's a good thing that he's young because as I get older, it's harder and harder to be flexible with all the things that are coming. Last week, they brought in the 5 for 5 for eligibility. I think it's going to be good. It's going to be productive, but it's just another change that we've got to get acclimated to. The money that's involved in college athletics and the stories that you read about these Power 4s and Power 5 conferences don't necessarily relate as specific to us, but certainly trickles downhill. So it gives us opportunities to recruit better high school players. It gives us opportunities to get in the portal at our certain times to get the right people. A good friend of mine told me one time, you win in the portal, sometimes you lose in the portal. So we've been able to have that concept, and that's true. We've been able to do that. So the ever-changing and evolving rules of the game is something that's very frustrating. Young guys, they just hit it and carry on. But for me, it's harder to get over. But certainly, though, the ever-changing NCAA and what it looks like is definitely the hardest part of the job.
And you've got to communicate that, not just to Coach Mattox, but you've got how many athletic programs does Morehead have?
17.
Okay, so you're taking care of 17 athletic programs, scholarship athletic programs that you have to, push that through to all 17 of those coaches.
Yeah, and our unique situation is our football is in the Pioneer Football League, which is non-scholarship, and then we have cheerleading and dance that both fall with me that are not NCAA. But all of these programs are extremely important. So knowing the different scenarios and the different places that you have to get that news, and a lot of times the coaches hear the scuttlebutt well before it becomes a rule. So they're pressing us, is this happening? Is this happening? Well, potentially, but none of us know till it happens. So the partnerships that we have make it strong and make it doable. But certainly it is a challenge that we've never felt before in this capacity.
So who do you lean on when it comes to, other than when it comes to learning the new rules? Is it just fed to you? You have to learn it, or who do you lean on at that point?
Yeah, there's a lot of education that goes on at our level, and certainly the NCAA is a big piece of handing a lot of that legislation down. Our conference is very, very proactive in trying to get news and information to the from the commissioners level down to the athletic directors, who then in turn get that down to the coaches. So there's a lot of that kind of communication, but again, a lot of this is already out in the atmosphere by the time we get to it, and there's speculation and trying to mold it together. So it is frustrating with trying to control the narrative. Because there's certain things like court injunctions aren't the same as what NCAA allows. So those are totally two different worlds that you're talking about, and that gets confusing for student athletes and parents and agents who are trying to get involved with these kids' money. That confuses the entire process, which all filters down to our coaches, and they have to manage all of that.
Gotcha. I did have a question for you. You've been a fairly busy guy here lately because you've just recently, 2 years ago, you Preston Spradling, left for another job. You had to hire Coach Mattox. You just recently hired 2 women's coaches in a row. I think a couple of head coaches for women's soccer also. And so a busy time for you in the last 3, 4, 5 years, I'm guessing. How does those searches start? I mean, is it something that's fairly easy for you, or is it just like, okay, we're gonna put it out there and wait and see what we get?
Yeah, coaching searches start well before there's ever a search to have to happen. So,
Yeah.
like, being prepared is no different than, like, going into games with scouting reports. So, like, we have a plan, a process. It's not perfect all the time, but you have a generation of names that you want to target, people in every sport. I'm not going to show you, but I've got them on my phone of all of our sports and that list of people. Some are easier than others. Like, for me, dealing in the basketball world, like, my goodness, if I can't figure out basketball in Morehead State, like, shame on me, right? So, but now it's a little different in some sports I'm not more familiar with. So we have to really try to branch out and post jobs to get that information. We're currently going through a softball search, which is certainly not my lane of expertise, but I know what good coaching looks like, and I know what good people look like and what they fit. So it is challenging in a lot of ways, but a lot of that's a blessing for opportunities. So while we love Preston Spradlin and we loved the work that he did at Morehead, and his opportunity to go to James Madison was wonderful. We celebrated that, but it also gives guys like Jonathan Mattox opportunities to come into
100%.
their role and to do what they're doing. So we're pleased to be able to go through that, and if they're leaving for successful reasons, that's the good part.
Right, absolutely.
Coach, I need you to dispel a myth for us real quick.
Okay.
These people like Wes and Sean, the older people, they always said, well, if you start playing these college players, they just won't care as much. Can you just bust that?
Yeah, coaching is still coaching, and at the end of the day, you're still trying to reach these kids' hearts. And I would dispel that completely. Like I said, are there guys out there who get paid a lot of money to play college basketball and shut it down, or don't care, or stop working? Yeah, but there's going to be people like that all the time. There's people before NIL started that got to Kentucky or Louisville or Morehead State and said, "Hey, I'm here now. I'm going to coach." So, yeah, there's still. You're still coaching the heart. There's still players out there that are playing for the love of the game, right? There's still coaches out there that are coaching for the love of the game. I think we're in an ultra-competitive environment. Take the money out of it. There's still a lot of players out there who would play for no money. You know what I mean? So, and if you got those guys on your team, you probably got a chance to be pretty successful.
And let's not get confused. There's still value in education. There's still value
100%.
in team sports. There's still value in the art of having good culture and being treated right and growing and finding a better version of yourself as you go through college. We believe in all of those things. Now, yes, we've added the piece of money and dollars in there, but like every business in the world, I think you could go by and say, in a hospital, like that person's just putting in their time to get a paycheck. Like, we all have those kind of things, but let's not focus on that part of it. Like, look at the growth these student athletes are doing and the versions that they come out to be, and good men and good family men. They get great jobs. They get opportunities to really find themselves in a career. Those are the things we still value, and not that we're still don't have the business part of it, but the family atmosphere has to be a part of what we're doing. And I can promise you, Morehead State, the family part's going to be a part of it.
I was going to say there is a difference between a high school coach and high school team and Morehead State, but honestly, I don't think there's that much, because you still have to get through to those players. You're still a coach to those players. You're still teaching them life lessons, and there's the biggest thing is that you're giving them a free scholarship. I mean, a free education. I mean, majority of them, at least I think. But there's a scholarship component to it, and they are able to come play for you and get that schooling, get that education that basically comes for free once they're done, and that's big time. Beyond the NIL, beyond the money that they're going to get, that's big time for them.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like, coaching is leadership. Leadership is influence. how can we take this young man from where he's at now to where he needs to go in all areas, academically, athletically, socially, whatever the case may be, right? One of the things we do in our program, we call it LEAD, L-E-A-D, stands for Leadership, Education, and Development. That's 1 hour per week. We're going to pour into our players and get them to become better men, better future husbands, fathers, workers, citizens, all the above, right? We spend a lot of time talking to our guys one-on-one before practice, after practice, just one, getting to know them, but two, pouring into them as people. That's a big part of it. If the only thing we're doing is developing better basketball players, we've wasted great opportunity to impact a life.
And, I mean, he's impacting lives. We're hopefully impacting communities. Sean, take a minute to thank our sponsors.
Yeah. First of all, let's thank Community Trust Bank, who is the sponsor of our Coaches Corner show. Rumpke as well, Simply Secured, CRC Renovations, Jacobs Auto Body, Kaufman's Funeral Home and Crematory, Brent Wehunt, Kentucky Farm Bureau in Frenchburg, Jacobs Vision Center, Mays Law Firm, Innovative Designs, LPL Financial, Downtown Athletic Club, and our newest sponsor, Family Discount Drugs, who is going to be the sponsor of our Bath County Scholarship Program for next school year. So welcome to the Family Discount Drugs.
That was good.
Back to you, Pat.
Okay, you're going to look
Sorry.
at me. All right, we're going to go. So, Coach Mattox, when it comes to having your end-of-season meetings, what's one of those look like?
Yeah, typically I always start with check-ins. Hey, how are you doing individually? A lot of those end-of-season meetings come either right before or right after spring break. Hopefully next year it'll be later because the NCAA tournament's during our spring break. But this year it came right before, right after. So, hey, how are you doing? How are things at home? How's mom and dad? And then grades, because a big thing now is with the portal, grades have slipped because what happens is players get into the portal, players start taking visits, start going to other schools, and now the grades at their current that's like the last thing on their mind. Right. So, how are your grades doing? And then feedback on the season, right? What went well? What didn't go well? If it's a senior, hey, how can I help you? Do you want to play professionally? I usually give them a couple options of different agents I link them up with. If it's a returner, hey, these are some things you need to work on, A, B, and C. What are some things I need to work on as your coach? And then if it's a person that is leaving to go to another program, how can I help you? Who would you like me to reach out to? Things of that nature. So that's usually how it's a conversation. I sit down. It's not a lot of pressure, like whether they're staying, whether they're graduating, whether they're going into the portal. Our relationship is going to be the same. We lost a couple players to the portal. I just talked to one of them last week just about his new situation and all that. So I want our relationship to remain intact regardless of the situation.
So is that, I mean, you can go in as much detail as you want. Is that like an awkward situation when a kid comes to you and is like, hey, it is what it is. This is what school X is offering me. I think I'm going to jump in the portal.
I can touch on some of that. Knowing Johnny as well as I know him, the conversations aren't awkward because he's totally communicating with them every day, all the time. So, like, he's got a pulse of a kid that's happy. He's got a pulse of a kid that maybe is indifferent. And then let's be real. Like, if your kids that are amazing and having great years at Morehead State, like, a lot of times those kids are going to get opportunities to go other places. We have to be comfortable with helping them do that, get their grades where they need to be, making sure they're eligible so we can set them off on a path where they go. That's not a bad thing. That's a right thing as people. So, like, Johnny has those conversations all the time, and it's no different than I have with him. Like, we don't have pressure conversations because we talk all the time. So, like, it gives us relationships always are going to matter. They always are where where good stuff begins or bad stuff begins, one of the two. And he's always on top of it. But I can always tell when he has a good conversation in a postseason meeting and when he has a bad one, because there's usually an email to me follows like, hey, hey, I'm ready to do this or ready to do that. So I get insight probably before he does.
Yeah, and those guys that jump into the portal, I like to stay in touch with them for a couple of reasons. But one is, like, make sure you go to the right school for you, right? So a lot of times I'm checking in with them once a week. Hey, who are you talking to? What are they talking about? Where do they see you? You know, if you have an agent, what's your agent saying? You know, some of those conversations. But make sure you go to the right place so you can continue to have success, right? Because a lot of times it's a guy who had success for us here, right? But don't go to the wrong place where you're going to sit the bench. So and obviously I know coaches too, so I can help navigate some of those waters as well.
Did you happen to ask him about, to change gears a little bit, did you happen to ask him about his philosophy and how he plays? And
Nope.
Okay. So, yeah, like I said, switching gears a little bit, what is your philosophy in basketball? I mean, how do you play? You know, is it defense makes offense? Is it, you know, what is your philosophy about basketball and what you bring to Morehead State?
Yeah, we've been defensive-minded, defensive-oriented. Last year we were much better on the offensive end. Offensively, that comes down to personnel and the players. But, you know, if you ask how I would want our team to be described, it's blue-collar. Like, it's a team that just battles and fights and never quits. He was at a game up at Edwardsville. We're down 16 with 5 minutes to go. Game looked over. Took a timeout. I got on our best player at the time, George Marshall. And, like, my message wasn't like, we need to come back and win this game. My message was, we just gave up 3 straight offensive rebounds. That ain't the standard we play to. I don't care if we're down 100, right? That ain't who we are as a program. We're going to battle. We're going to fight. We're going to compete. So we've been defensive-oriented, and we've gotten better offensively just through personnel, guards like George Marshall, Chase Dawson, Davion Cunningham, shot makers, quick guys who can get in the paint. That allowed us to play faster last year. That allowed us to be better offensively. But really simple in what we're doing. We're man-to-man defensively. We got up and pressured some more last year in the full court. You know, we would do some different things ball screen coverage-wise. And then, you know, we were pretty balanced offensively in terms of mixture of ball screens, post-ups, and off-ball screens to free up shooters.
So is there, like at the high school level, I would imagine, if you used to, heck, now the way these kids are scoring the ball, who knows what the number is. Used to, if you hit 60 points, you were probably winning the game. Is there a target you have in mind that you would like your team to average?
I think now at the college level, you got to score 70 or more. 2020, 2021, and 2021, 2022, when I was an assistant here, my last 2 years as an assistant here, we held teams to 60, 61 points. We could win a defensive slugfest. Now with the rules, they've eliminated the charge from college basketball pretty much. So that opens up the paint and allows you to shoot more free throws. But you got to get to 70 to be competitive on a night-in, night-out basis. Now, we've won some low-scoring games in the 60s last year. We won some high-scoring games. So balance is the key.
So what would you tell a player, you know, whether you're recruiting or trying to get them to come to Morehead State? You know, I know we've gone through a lot, but what would you tell a player wanting to come into Morehead State? You know, this is the reason you can come here.
Yeah, I would tell them if this is about the money, we probably need to end this thing now, brother. That's what I would tell them. Like, if this is about the money, and not in a bad way, right? A lot of schools need to, you know, if this is about the money, we need to end this thing now, because I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to overpromise and underdeliver, right? You need to come to Morehead, one, because it's a great place with great people, for the relationships you're going to build with your teammates, with your staff, with our administration. We really emphasize winning, right? How important is winning to you? Everybody says winning is important. And to their credit, winning is on everybody's list. For some people, it's number 1. For some people, it's number 5. For some people, it's number 10. It's on the list. But how important is it to you? Right? In the last 6 years, we've had 5 20-plus win seasons. We've won the regular season OVC championship 3 out of the last 4 years. We've made 2 NCAA tournaments in that time span, but we've been to 4 OVC championship games in the last 6 years, right? Is that important to you? You know, to some people it is, to some people it isn't. And then player development we always stress on, and personal development. So those are the top reasons, you know, but being a part of a family, being part of a community that's going to love you and support you, right? And you may not get the money that other schools can offer, but you're going to have an opportunity to come here and be a good player. And then maybe at the end of the day or at the end of the year, you can go get money somewhere else. But those are usually the conversations we have.
So I'm going to roll the question to you, Kelly, because I'm sure you meet with a lot of these,
He meets with them all.
with a lot of these student athletes, and it's not just basketball for you. I mean, it's 17 sports, as you said. So, what is the message you when a new student athlete comes on campus? What is the message you give to them?
Yeah, I'm fortunate that my coaches allow me to be a part of the recruiting process. I get to meet with all of Johnny's and all of Jackie's or men's, women's basketball, but a lot of our coaches bring their student athletes into my office. I've kind of set it up a little bit like your studio here. It tells a story. So when you come in my office, you see a picture of my dad. You see a picture of my jersey hanging in there. You see a picture of my wife's jersey in there. It talks about championships that have won. It's got family pictures where the teams come over to my house. So like it tells a story visually. Not to mention it has a whole bunch of rings in there too that we've won over time. So like we have an opportunity to share the same kind of mission. When I tell them the Morehead State is the greatest place on the planet, I mean that because that's where I want to be. And the conversation we have is like, is this where you want to be? Is this the greatest place on the planet for you? And talk to their parents about the safety of Morehead, Kentucky and how we're protected about some of the things around. Do you love outdoors? Do you like those opportunities to be around great people? If your goals are to get a good education, play good sport, and be around great people, we answer all of those things. So like really trying to let them know that like the experience here, the student experience here is wonderful. You're going to have a chance to be around great people, great coaches. Really gives an opportunity for the parents to be involved as well because you all know as parents, like there's nothing more important than your children. So like having them in a place that they're cared for, not coddled to, have to grow up. It's time to kind of move to a better version of yourself, and we don't apologize to making sure that's what love is about, right? Like you teaching them the good stuff and the bad stuff if you love them. So like we do that, and I'm very involved. Johnny mentioned that I go to some games. I try to get to every sport we have, every game on the road we possibly can get to. I'm on charter buses. I'm on the planes when they go. I'm on my own rental car to get out there to let them know that they're cared about, they're supported, and we truly do love them, and we love the place we're serving. So that's kind of the message we give out. It's not fake. It's not phony. It's completely real. And I think people feel that when they come there. Morehead State's one of those places that just sticks to you. Like you don't get to shake it off. Like when you get it, you got it, it's for forever. So as we say, once an eagle, always an eagle. That's truly what we do.
Have you seen that? Come back through the student athletes? Expressing it to whether it's coaches or you or people outside. Have you seen that from student athletes? Saying this place is different. This place is special.
Yeah, every interview we have with a coach, when we bring student athletes and their families in, even kids in Kentucky don't realize like they may not have been to Morehead unless you're in this region. So like when they get there and see all the great things we have, like I think they appreciate that a great deal. People genuinely love to be cared about. They love people to look after them and be engaged in their life. We do that at a high level. That's one of the best things we do. Graduation is important, watching them walk across the stage. We stress that. Now this transfer piece puts kids behind academically. So like we try to stress, like if you stay here, we're going to get you pushed through here. Love to see you. And even when we get them later, we get them through to the finish line as quickly as we can. So I do think that's a sense of family feel. Our student athletes that you'll ever talk to will tell you the same thing, that we're engaged, it's important, and our community the same way.
I will say during graduation this last May, not that every graduate that walked through that line is not important. Absolutely 100%. They are very important. They're very important to certain professors that are on campus, certain administrators that are on campus. But there was just a little something special with the student athletes that come through there, because you could see administrators or professors that were up there on stage come up to those student athletes and go, "You did it. It was a good job," and it was just something a little extra special that I noticed, and I was like, "Yeah, that's pretty cool."
Yeah, I'm a very proud business school graduate. I got my teaching degree, and I taught education for most of my career until I moved into college athletics. So, like, all of those pieces are important, but it's about connecting in relationships. And I think in athletics, it forces you to kind of be in the public eye a little bit. You're in a glass bowl,
Yep.
so, like, people know you, get a chance to see you, actually root for you and care for you. We got a lot of really good things. I know in the public sometimes the athletic eye is kind of critical of what student athletes do because they know they're making money and they're doing different things. Like I believe at Morehead State, we truly, genuinely care about our kids, and I think it shows in those scenarios. Graduation's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
And like I said, when those gyms packed, if those kids wearing those Morehead State gowns and they come across that stage, some first-generation kids that have changed their entire trajectory of life for their family.
Right.
Those are the real coaching paychecks that we get when we see them cross that finish line.
So as we get ready to wrap up here, you both have been in basketball for a long time. You both know the sport, obviously, more than any of us. What's one piece of advice you would give to any athlete out there that wants to strive to make it to the D1 level?
Yeah, I actually get that question asked a lot, especially from parents. And my advice to them is stay the course and stay off social media, right? Because everybody wants an offer, right? Everybody wants attention. Put your head down, get in the gym, focus on improving. If you improve, I tell them the offers will come. If you're worried about the offers, you're worried about the attention on social media, you'll never improve and you'll tap out. You'll never reach your maximum potential. So I just tell them stay the course, continue to work, focus on improving. The offers will come, and the rest will take care of itself.
So let me clarify something about social media, because we've had Tanya Witt on. She wrote just a small book about using social media to your advantage. Put your game clips out there, put your stats out there, and use social media to your advantage. I get what you're saying, but is it something that kids should use that to the advantage? Know what you can, your line of what you can and should do, or is it a matter of, as a coach, if they're good, we'll find them?
Yeah, no, both. I think, and I guess what I was saying, because I use social media too, right? And yeah, players, recruits, they use social media.
Right.
Don't obsess over player A. Your best friend has 10 offers and you have none.
Yeah.
Don't worry about that. He can't go to 10 schools, I guess. Maybe he can now.
He didn't have that.
We'll see, right?
At least
We don't know yet.
5 now, right?
Right?
At least 5.
But I'm just saying, don't obsess over, right, the offers that you may or may not be getting. There's a lot of guys I'm coaching nowadays that are late bloomers, right? I sat in that room the other day. There's a lot of guys on my roster that played Division II basketball, that played NAIA basketball, that played junior college basketball, that had no Division I offers, and now they're sitting at a Division I program.
Yeah.
Stay the course, right? Use it when you need to use it, when you need to post game clips, when you need to post highlights, when you need to reach out to a coach or whatever the case may be, but don't obsess over, comparison is the thief of joy, right? Don't compare yourself to others. Everybody has their own course to run.
I like it.
That's great. I'm going to use a quote, and I want to look at it and make sure I got it right. If you don't sacrifice for what you want, then what you want becomes your sacrifice. So, I would encourage you, there are things you have to give up to get where you want to be. So, if you have negativities in your life, we talked about obsessing over things. You should obsess over reading your Bible. You should obsess loving your family. We shouldn't obsess in the negativity of this world that it presents to us. So, you're going to have to make sacrifices. If you want to become a great free throw shooter, then you better shoot 20,000 free throws. That's just reality of life. So, if you really want something and you're willing to sacrifice for it, you'll get an opportunity to do that. But if you don't, then that's going to be your sacrifice. So I would encourage you, if it's something you want, chase it with all your heart, all your soul. Shoot for the stars. And if you're laying in the clouds, that's awesome. But I would tell you, that to get where you want is going to require sacrifice. I'll share one real quick as we go. I spent my whole life wanting to be the head men's basketball coach at Morehead State University. I don't think there's any secret to that. Now I think God's got a great sense of humor. Now I'm in charge of athletics at Morehead State University, and we've got the best leader that it could ever be possible. So I think it's important to continue to chase those goals and dreams that you have, but keep chasing. So then you'll get other opportunities, and I've been blessed to do that. I'm proud of Morehead State, proud to serve as athletic director, and I think we're heading in the right direction.
And he's still he's right there with me, wins and losses, right? And I appreciate him. You know, he doesn't have to deal with the officials like I do, which he likes.
Amen.
But he's right there with me, win or loss, going through it with you, right? So when he said partner, that's what he is a partner. And I know how much this job means to him, so I want to make sure I lead the program the right way. And what he is now as a coach. There's very few athletic directors out there that are former coaches. Mm-hmm. Most of them are business-minded, fundraisers, whatever the case may be, and that's fine. But have an athletic director who was a coach, who was a successful coach, a winning coach, now he's pouring into all the coaches at Morehead State, which is beneficial. Right now he's pouring into me, right, which is invaluable. Right? Couldn't ask for a better athletic director, couldn't ask for a better mentor. So those things, I don't take for granted.
Me and Adam can come to games. You said referees. Sean can't go to a game.
No, Sean,
he's off limits when you said referees.
Yeah. As soon as every time we call a game, Sean he likes to call out the officials during broadcast.
Gotcha.
Coach, I don't mind at all being on your sideline and yelling at the coach and the refs for you. I will do that for you.
We all got to carry ourselves in the right way. My wife's great, and she's on the officials, so I'm trying to, tame her a little bit. And then at the OVC tournament, she sees Coach Wells get on the officials, so now she thinks so it's but officials are part of it, good, bad, ups and downs. You got to deal with them as coaches. He passes that task on to a member of his staff now, so he doesn't have to deal with it. But he's living every point with us.
Before we go, again, how do you get involved? How do you get season tickets for Morehead State basketball?
Yeah, MSUEagles.com. I try, speaking of social media, I try to put out a lot of different videos. I do a From the Desk of the Athletic Director series every month. I try to put out all the good stuff that we're doing at Morehead State, gives information, but you can find everything you need at MSUEagles.com. I do all social media platforms. The university does as well to try to keep up with all the things. You know how hard it is to get information out. That's the power of media. So we try to do our best to get that out there and do marketing campaigns. But MSUEagles.com, very well priced tickets. We can do group sales, family sales. Would love to encourage and try to work with your businesses, corporations. What a great honor you can do to your company to get season tickets for families, to give them opportunities to go to games and have a family experience where you're going to be around great people. So I'm happy to work with anybody in that regard, because our student athletes, our coaches, and our community deserve to have good crowds there, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to travel, speak, do whatever it takes to get us in that position.
Perfect. I think that's a pretty good spot to wrap up the show. Again, thank you very much for coming tonight. I hope everybody watching took a little something from it. If you didn't get to see it, go back and watch. If you don't get to watch, listen to it Thursday when it drops on all of our podcast platforms to where you can listen to it that way. But thank you very much for coming. It's nice to get a different vantage point than high school, especially during the dead period, and having you all on was awesome.
Appreciate y'all having us.
It's always an honor.
Well, guys, for Coach Mattox, for Coach Wells.
Don't forget to say, we won't have a show next week. We're taking our own dead period break next week.
I'm glad you said that.
I didn't know, and it says on the sheet, next week break.
No
I
show
didn't even read
break.
that part yet.
That's right. We're gonna 4th of July lands on Saturday. There's going to be a lot of people that's going to be heading out on vacation, maybe already on vacation. And so with dead period extending until the 9th or 10th for football, and then usually the rest of the sports start around the 14th or 15th, we're just going to go ahead and take a break for ourselves and then come back with some really good shows. So be on the lookout for those promo posts as we did for these guys. And again, thanks to all our sponsors. We still need we still got some sponsor opportunities out there. I know that Sean put one out for Athlete of the Month in Bath County. We're also going to be putting a post out about needing some help on it. So high school students, college students, if you're looking to get into this type of thing, we were blessed to have on a whim Matthew Cole and Andrew Cole this last year. Matthew going to Marshall for the broadcasting. But if you have some sort of aspirations of doing something like this, give us a shout. Whether it's a message through Facebook or Twitter, but we'll have that graphic out. It'll have a little bit more information, and by all means, contact us. Anything on that, Sean? Okay. Guys, that was episode 398, and we will see you 2 weeks from now.
2 weeks.
That's right.
The From Corner to Corner podcast wants to send a huge thank you to all our amazing sponsors who help keep this show rolling each week. Your support lets us keep covering local sports, sharing stories, and building community together. We truly couldn't do it without you. Thank you for believing in us, and let's keep making an impact together.
The Moco Four Horsemen would like to thank you for listening to From Corner to Corner. Be sure to go out and follow us on Twitter, on TikTok, on Facebook, Instagram, and even YouTube. Whatever podcast platform that you listen to us on, be sure to go out and give us a 5-star review. Thanks as always, and we look forward to seeing you next week.